Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're making a video on discontinued Woodstock chimes. I know I just made a couple videos on other discontinued brands, and I said I was going to do Woodstock. So here we are. This might take a while, because Woodstock discontinues like a crap ton of wind chimes. So right now we're on cgifts.com. They have a lot of like older chimes on here, are kind of fun to look through, and most of them have sound samples. So the first discontinued one I want to talk about is the Shalom chime. There was actually one of these on eBay very recently that I saw, but it was kind of expensive, so I was like, nah. Um, no sound sample on here, unfortunately. I do remember when this was for sale. I always remember it didn't sound like great, so I was never really a big fan of this. 37 inches, so mid-size. Its counterpart looks pretty similar. This is also discontinued, the klezmer. I don't really remember this one though, and I don't remember ever hearing a sound sample of this. It just looks like the smaller version of the Shalom. Pretty similar style. Alright, and then we got the 1812 chime. This was actually a really nice one. It was kind of like a Windsinger style. It was like long. It was like 70 inches, I think, and it sounds pretty good. I was pretty sad when this one got discontinued because it wasn't like that expensive either, I don't think. So let's listen to it. Pretty similar to the chimes of Hera. I don't know if you remember Hera. We'll look at that one next, but yeah, it's just like a smaller Windsinger style Hera. Here's the chimes of Hera. This was in the Windsinger lineup. It was like a long one. I think it was like 84 inches maybe, so it's like one of the biggest Woodstock chimes besides King David. This is what it sounds like though. It's got a very deep tone. Pretty nice sounding one. And I bet a lot of you remember this one, the Gazing Ball Chime Large. I know Vinyl Nerd, he has one of these in his collection, which is actually pretty cool in my opinion. These are pretty rare, and there was also a small one, but I can't find any pictures of the small one online for some reason. So yeah, those are the Gazing Ball Chimes. And I know everybody loves this one. This is Wind Chime and Mr. Christmas Lover. He's a big fan of the Grand Symphonic Chime. I mean, for good reason. This is a really nice one. 62 inches. It's got a nice deep tone. So let's listen to what this one sounds like. That's a very nice one. I wish I could find one of those. So this is kind of a more obscure one. These are the chimes of Cambridge. I don't know what sketchy website I'm on, but as you can see, they look pretty much the same as the Bells of Paradise, 44 inch or whatever. I guess this is a sound sample. Let's listen to it. Yeah, so that sounds pretty similar to the Bells of Paradise. I also remember there was a Chimes of Kensington, which is the smaller version of this, which I'm pretty sure is the same as the smaller Bells of Paradise, but I can't really find a picture of it online. I'll look again, but alright, now we're back on Sea Gifts. These are the Chimes of Troy. Unfortunately, there's no sound sample. Again, they kind of look like the Bells of Paradise and the Cambridge one that we just looked at. Also 44 inches, but this one is platinum gray, which is kind of cool. I did see one of these on eBay at one point, but it was like expensive and I just didn't think it was worth it, so I didn't go for it. But yeah, these have been gone for a very long time. And similar to the chimes of Troy we just looked at, these are the chimes of Delphi, which slightly bigger version, 54 inches. Again, sadly there's no sound sample, but I can imagine they're pretty similar to the 54-inch Bells of Paradise, if I had to make an assumption. Yeah, I've never seen one of these anywhere. I don't remember ever hearing what they sound like either, so this is a pretty cool one actually. The Chimes of Ashokan. So it says it's a limited edition one. And if you read the description, it says only 1,000 of these were made. I don't know however many years ago, probably many years ago, but 54 inches overall. So it's a pretty nice chime. I wish I could hear what it sounded like, but again, no sound sample on this one. Okay, I had to do some digging to remember what this one was called. Like I could remember what it was, but I forgot what it was called. But it's the Victorian Garden Chime. It's a pretty cool looking one actually, and I remember there was actually a larger version of this. I've been trying to find a photo of it. Might be look up large. It'll come up. It's got to be a photo of it somewhere. I'll get back to that in 1 second. Okay, so this is what I was thinking of. This is the Royal Wedding Chime. Um, yeah, I haven't seen one of these in so long. I don't remember what it sounds like, but this is the larger version of that Victorian Garden one, I believe, that we just looked at. Yeah, so this is a more recently discontinued one. I know some of you probably definitely have this Chicago Blues chime in your collection because, again, it's a classic one and it was pretty popular. But, I never was a big fan of them. I just thought I didn't like the sound. I'm kind of picky with like how wind chimes sound. But here's what it sounds like. Nice little small chime, but yeah, it's even though I didn't like it much, I'm kind of sad to see it go because it is a classic one, and they shouldn't have discontinued any of these like original ones. I'm sure some of you remember these too, the chimes of Baja. These were kind of cool. They had like a unique sail design, and they had the staggered tubes, kind of like reminds me of the mindfulness chime, which I believe they still sell, and kind of like the Mysteries series chime, but this is like the Baja chime. There was also a smaller version of this called the Patagonia. Yeah, this is it. Just like a mini version, but again, the same like red wood with that funky sail design. But yeah, these have been gone for a while too. And I know this one kind of pissed a lot of people off. Some of you guys made a video on the chimes of Lund, which are one of the original three Woodstock chimes that they discontinued, along with the chimes of Parch, but they did keep the original one, the chimes of Olympus, which, I mean, that's some points there, I guess, but I was sad to see the chimes of Lund go. And then, of course, the counterpart to Lund is the chimes of Parch, which also, probably they got discontinued at the same time for whatever reason, but I really like the chimes of Parch, and I think they sound pretty good, so. Yep, those are the chimes of Parch. I wish they would bring them back. I did find one on eBay and I bought it because I was like, oh, I gotta snag one of these. So, okay, now this was news to me. So when I wrote a list of like different Woodstock chimes that I knew were discontinued, and I did not know until like just making this video that the chimes of Jerusalem are discontinued, which I was like, dang, I remember these from for a while. Like, why would they just discontinue these? But these are the chimes of Jerusalem. That's a nice classic one that I remember for a while, and I'm sad to see it go. All right, now we're going back on a C gift so we can go a little further back in time. This is the Baby Ben chime. Um, I don't remember. I remember like seeing these, like people had these back in the day, but I don't really remember what they sound like. But this reminds me of the chimes of Saturn, right? The Encore one that's kind of like skinny, these skinny tubes, and it's like I don't know, kind of a funky size, but yeah, 47. Yeah, it's Saturn, right? If I'm wrong and I'm like making up that the chimes of Saturn are a real chime, just comment because I'm like having a mental fog right now. Here we have the Tudor Rose Chime Princess. So there was two of these in the Tudor Rose series. There's the Princess and then the Queen, which is the larger one, and we'll look at the queen after this. Um, yeah, these are the Tudor Rose Princess chimes, which are also discontinued. So it sounds a lot like a Gregorian alto to me, with the 8 tubes and similar scale, honestly. Of course, here we have the Tudor Rose Queens. It's kind of similar to a Gregorian tenor. It's probably a little different, but it's a pretty good chime in my opinion. And it's a nice 8 tube one. I love 8 tubes over 6. I just think they sound cooler. So besides the chimes of Hera, there was also another Windsinger chime which got discontinued. The chimes of Phoenix, which were the smallest Windsinger chime, and I didn't think they sound that bad. So some of you guys probably remember these. I don't. They weren't around for a long time though. They kind of were like a flop, I think. Yeah, those are pretty nice sounding in my opinion. And here's just a cool little one I found while I was perusing Sea Gifts. It's the Chimes of Olympus Anniversary Edition. They got these like funky green tubes with the center pinned tubes, it looks like. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, it literally sounds exactly like the regular Chimes of Olympus, but that's got to be pretty rare. I've never seen one of those. Alright, I'm pretty sure the Rite of Spring chime is discontinued. This might have been a more recent discontinued, but if I'm wrong, just let me know. Some of you probably have this one because these are pretty common, I think. Not sure if they're discontinued though. I'll have to look again. For the chimes of Mozart, I definitely know this mini one is discontinued. I'm not sure if the medium one is too. I haven't seen that one in a while. I know the large is still around. It's still on the Woodstock Chimes website, but medium might also be discontinued, which would be news to me. Not sure if anniversary chime is discontinued. I haven't seen that in a bit. Um, this Swan Lake, this is definitely discontinued. I haven't seen this in years, but this is what Swan Lake sounds like. Up to an 8 tube, so automatically it gets more points in my book. That sounds pretty good. Here we got some older Encore chimes. We got the Galaxy 2, which is kind of like a small one. We got the Galaxy 1, which is this funky spiral. There's another, yeah, this one. I've never seen one of these. Chimes of Jupiter. It says it's 71 inches. It's pretty big. I can't imagine these were around for a while because I've really never seen or heard of these. Yeah, here we got the Waltzing Matilda chime. I know Windchime and Mr. Christmas Lover, you just bought one of these, so if you haven't watched this video of the unboxing, go check it out. It's a pretty cool one. I saw the eBay listing, honestly, before he bought it, and I was like thinking about it, but I didn't buy it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna save my 50 bucks for something else that pops up, but he snagged it and made a video on it, so that was pretty cool. All right, I know some of you remember this one, the chimes of, why is it so unzoomed? Chimes of Autism. I remember when these came out, it was like for like a charitable cause, and then they just disappeared one day, which I don't know why, because these weren't a bad little chime, but they should bring these back. All right, now we're going way back. We're in 2004, and we're using the Wayback Machine, which is kind of, it's like good enough, but it's kind of glitchy. So as you can see, the first thing when I'm on like the classic chime section, there was used to be 3 different versions of the chimes of Bach, and then they only went to one. I don't think there's sound samples on any of these, so I'm not even going to bother clicking. Um, yeah, there's Swan Lake again. I'll keep looking on here and see what else is continued. Alright, so I jumped ahead to 2005, and here's the Synergy Chime Medium, and also the Synergy Chime Large, which is right here. Um, I actually have a video of one of these. I found it on Instagram and I saved it. Uh, I'm pretty sure it's like the only video of this that like is anywhere, but I might post it as a short like on my YouTube channel just so you guys can see what it is because I like found it on there. But yeah, Synergy Chime, that one's been gone for a long time. Yeah, again, the three different chimes of Bach. Let's see if it'll let me go into Windsinger. Yeah, these are all the same. One thing, I don't know if you can't really zoom in on this, but one thing, I don't know if you guys knew this, but when the Windsingers first came out, they actually had a wooden clapper instead of like, the black hard plastic. So if you find any like old Windsingers on eBay or whatever, they're probably gonna have like the thick wood middle instead of the regular hard black plastic ones. That's just a little tidbit that I've learned. So that's about it. If I probably missed a bunch, please comment if you know any that I missed. And thanks for watching this deep dive into discontinued Woodstock chimes. Take care.